This is the OU postgame show. One of the great college football careers in the history of the Big 12 comes to a conclusion in all likelihood in the form of Sam Bradford. And unless a miracle occurs, we will have a new Big 12 football champion, as its previous one, the Oklahoma Sooners, fall to the Texas Longhorns 16-13. And for the fourth time in the past 5 seasons, Texas walks away with the Golden Hat Trophy. Before I get into the breakdown of the game, I think I speak for almost every Oklahoma fan out there that it was my pleasure to watch Sam Bradford play at the University of Oklahoma. 2 years ago, 36 touchdown passes, defeats Texas and Miami, and leads the Sooners to a Big 12 championship. Last year, 50 touchdown passes, the Heisman Trophy, another Big 12 championship, and the national championship game against Florida. But this season, as you know, it's been pretty tough for Sam. The injuries, the shoulder injury against BYU, kept him out for a month, tried to come back, and then second possession of the game, first play, lands on the same shoulder, and I don't think he's going to play at Oklahoma anymore. I think it'll be surgery for him as he will go to the next level. But for Sam Bradford, what impresses me the most is the way he is off the field. Pretty easygoing guy, and I really recommend you check out the website IamSecond.com. It gives his video testimony on how his life has been changed thanks to the Lord. Same with Colt McCoy, who's also, his video testimonial is on this website, along with Texas Ranger slugger Josh Hamilton. You'll find out that there is more to life than sports. IamSecond.com. Please check it out. You won't regret it. It'll make you feel better. Now talking about the game. Oklahoma and Texas, and I watched this game from beginning, its progression, and all the way to the end. This game reminded me of Oklahoma's season in 6 ways, and 5 of them are not good. We'll start with the good, though, at number 1. Oklahoma has a tremendous defense. Look, I thought Brent Venables and his defense hit hard, were physical, and were well prepared in this matchup. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, but again, you can't fault Oklahoma's defense for the loss in this game. I thought they were outstanding, especially Jeremy Beal and Gerald McCoy. Now for the bad. Number 2, penalties. Oklahoma throughout the season has been plagued by them. I know you're going to get penalties in the game. You might have a game where you cannot seem to get rid of that yellow hanky. But it shouldn't be happening all the time, and it seems to be getting worse with Oklahoma. The penalty bug continues to bite the Sooners with holding, with false starts, with 15-yarders. Can't happen, especially in clutch games. It happened against OU, and that was one of the factors in their loss. Number 3, can't block. The recurring theme for Oklahoma, can't block, and you especially cannot block when it comes to running the ball. Negative yardage against Texas rushing. I cannot remember the last time I ever heard of Oklahoma have negative rushing against anybody. Even in the John Blake era where football at Oklahoma was dismal. Negative rushing. And I know Texas has a pretty good defense, but they're not the number 1 defense of all time. They're not the number 1 D in the universe. But Oklahoma made them look that way. Oklahoma, 22 rushes, minus 0.7 yards a carry. Yeah, try winning a game doing that. It's not going to happen. Number 4. Missed opportunities. Again, I said you can get away with just field goals when you get into the red zone against Baylor. Can't happen against Texas. You got to score the touchdowns, especially early. Oklahoma dominated the first quarter, yet only led 6-0. And then the mistake started for Oklahoma with the DeMarco Murray fumble when Oklahoma was driving. That seemed to change the momentum of the game after that. 6-0. Oklahoma should have had more points than that. Number 5, something that Oklahoma can't control, injuries. The Gresham injury before the season started really put Oklahoma in a hole. It took away a major weapon, especially in the red zone. And then the Bradford injury, as we documented, and Oklahoma entering the Texas game had some offensive line injuries. They had to reshuffle the line around. It was already an offensive line that was not in cohesive form, and then the injuries just added salt to the wound. And then number 6, a big one, Oklahoma can't win the close games. Oklahoma, Bob Stoops now 5-8 in games decided by 3 points or less. Mac Brown 20-4 in games decided by 3 points or less. Enough said. Now, I thought the biggest play in the game was in the fourth quarter when Texas was up 16-13. Looked like they're going in for the knockout punch. And then McCoy throws a terrible pass. Brian Jackson jumps all over it. Looks like Jackson's going to have clear sailing down the sideline for an Oklahoma touchdown. But McCoy made up for his mistake. And I thought McCoy, by the way, played very average in this game. He is not a Heisman Trophy candidate. Just look at the numbers. Look at the way he's played. And if he gets invited to New York, it's simply because of what he did last year, not what he's done this year, because he's not even the best player on his team right now. But he did make amends for that interception by becoming the lone guy between Jackson and the goal line by upending Jackson down the sideline. If Jackson hurdles McCoy, it's a touchdown for Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's chances of winning jump big time in the game. We don't know how the game would have finished, but McCoy's saving tackle kept the game at 16-13, and that's how the final score ended. So, that was a huge play. Now let's go over the 4 keys to the game that I reviewed on the matchup show. Number 1, Sam I Am with a real McCoy. I go thumbs off, not a fair evaluation because Bradford got hurt, so we don't know which quarterback in the 4th quarter would have come through if Samford had stuck around. They had to put Landry Jones in the game, and Jones did okay in the first half, but the 4th quarter had 2 interceptions, and both were strictly on Jones, threw into bad coverage both times. So Jones should have used better judgment there. But again, thumbs off in the Colt versus Sam battle. Number 2, run like the wind. We've already documented it. Thumbs down, way down for Oklahoma. They could not run to save their skin. We've already talked about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Number 3, ship in or ship out. This was how Oklahoma would defend Jordan Shipley, who hurt them last year. Thumbs up to the Oklahoma defense. This was a big reason why Oklahoma was in the game throughout, and that's because Shipley only caught 4 passes. The longest pass he caught was a mere 9 yards, and special teams he wasn't a factor. So Oklahoma did their homework in game planning. Jordan Shipley, number 8, did not have a good day for the Longhorns. Number 4, drop passes, can't have them. Thumbs down to Oklahoma. They didn't have a whole lot of drop passes, but they had drop passes in key times, including a long pass in which Brandon Caleb had the ball in his hands, streaking down the sideline, and the ball went through his hands. Oklahoma had other drops in the game, and then the defense wasn't immune from Butterfingers as well, as Keenan Clayton had 2 interceptions go through his hands, including the second one in which he jumps in front of a Colt McCoy pass. Clayton holds on to the ball. It's a touchdown because he had absolutely nobody in front of him. So missed opportunities on the defensive side because of the drops. Look, Texas, their defense is national championship caliber. Will Muschamp has something fantastic going, and he'll be one heck of a head coach once he gets the job and Matt Brown decides to be athletic director whenever that day might be. But the offense, look, I think this is the reason why Texas won't win the national championship. They're too one-dimensional right now. Texas Longhorn fans, hate to tell it like it is, you got to get a running game, and they can't just come from Colt McCoy. You're going to have to run the ball because otherwise Alabama will cream you if you're just one-dimensional. Defense cannot strictly win the game by themselves. Texas is a pretty good team. Probably will get to the national championship game because their schedule plays out well for them. But I don't think they'll win the national championship because their offense does not show enough right now. For Oklahoma, where do they go from here? Well, we're going to see if they have pride, or we're going to see if they just throw in the towel. I think Oklahoma will show pride. The next 3 games are against Big 12 North competition, 2 of them on the road. We'll see how Oklahoma handles Kansas, who got stunned on Saturday night by Colorado, who's not a very good team. So maybe that's a good sign for the Sooners. Oklahoma, Kansas, that will be my weekly matchup show coming soon. Again, Oklahoma, another heartbreaking loss. This one comes at the hands of Texas, 16-13. Oklahoma probably out of the top 25 and out of the BCS for the first time in 4 years. Take it easy.